I don't know when it started about these crows, but consider the crows. I don't know, it must have been 15 years, 20 years ago, maybe not that long ago, but just all of a sudden out of nowhere, I'm in San Diego in Spring Valley. You come out of San Diego City and you get out to where the county is, and it kind of drops off into Spring Valley. That ridge, you can get up on that ridge in the evening, and all of a sudden, as far north as you can see and as far south as you can see is this big stream of crows flying south. It just seems to go on forever. And you can't see the end of it that way, and you can't see the starting of it. Then the next morning, you see them going back the other way. Driving to work, you can look out into that sky in the morning, and they're just going with you. At night, they must go down around San Ysidro somewhere. And during the day, they spend their time up in Rancho Bernardo, Escondido, Fallbrook, somewhere up that way. And so you got this big, now consider this from the sparrow's point of view, or the little birds. How intimidating it is to see that big stream. And then they come back, and now today, that many years, it's not that big stream. It'd be like 500 or 600 of them, and then a gap, and then 500 or 600 more. They're still coming back, but they're spread out more in bunches of 1,000, 2,000 each. And then during the day, they come around in raiding parties of about 50 to 100 minimum, and they'll like just lock in on a neighborhood tree, and they'll like just a little 5 or 6 square acres, and they'll raid all the trees of the nests of all the little birds, and then they'll be all over the ground, whatever kind of fruit or edible off of that tree to sustain life for birds, and they're all around the ground picking, eating all the stuff on the ground and up in the trees, what's still hanging on the branches. And these raiding parties are like wiping out all of the little birds. And it's like at my house, I have a lot of trees around me, and they'll almost like stay on one little property for 2 or 3 hours. And then all of a sudden you'll see them, they leave, and you'll see them a block or so away. So these raiding parties are all over the place. Now I remember 50, 60 years ago, every block had a telephone line going down it. And the sparrows or whatever they were just, and the little blackbirds, they were just, every telephone wire was just loaded with these birds everywhere. Once in a while now you'll see, 20 or 30 pigeons strung out on it. But back then they were everywhere. And these blackbirds now are, I don't know how bad, to what extent they're wiping out the small bird population here in San Diego is, but it must be phenomenal, because I'm sitting right now and I see one bird, a little sparrow. Directly above me is one of these new doves that just came into town. They're doves the size of pigeons, and now compare that to immigration. You got these caravans coming, and just that, looking from the citizens' point of view, is 5,000, 6,000, 15,000, and we see them as the far off. There's just kind of like scary. What are all these people doing coming here? And then when they get here, it's like the raiding parties. Here's where the jobs are. They swarm to the jobs, and this is where the free housing is, and they swarm to there. And I wonder how many people, homeless people, are at one time, they're struggling to make rent or whatever, and then the landlords, you're struggling all the time, and I have this person here that's government subsidized, and they'll pay their rent on time, and out you go, in they come. I just wonder how many homeless people are a result of settling immigration. And they do seem to settle in spots, like the liquor store industry seem to be taking all the not the fast foods, but the little fast markets that had a little gas pump out front. You know, all of them are taken over by new citizens or just people that came over in the last 10, 20 years. So how many industries are being taken over? You know, we gotta we gotta have new people coming in all the time. You know, but it's got to be done legally. So consider the crows. And then the thing, also think of this. It seems like, you know, during this back in the days when we had lawns and we could turn on the sprinklers, you know, you turn on and then you see the ants come just bubbling out of the onto the sidewalk and heading for higher ground, and then within a few seconds you see all the white specks. They're carrying their babies to safety and they're going up the side of your house or up a tree or whatever, getting high ground. And then kind of like put yourself out like a distance of a satellite and look at the earth. And then in the last 10, 20, 50, even just recently, it's like the world turned on its sprinkler system and just people are migrating like ants. You know, if you could look at the earth and see people like ants, they're just migrating and they seem to be going uphill. You know, you take the globe and draw a line right in the middle. You know, they all seem to be coming uphill, like the ants. They're looking for higher ground. And so, you know, we got to get that border wall built. And we got to fix immigration to where, you know, they come in legally. And like we are a nation of immigrants, but, you know, that was like 200 years ago. And we're not coming in like invading armies, you know, like Germany marching in with its German flags and all these people coming in, you know. The immigrants that came here didn't come bringing their flags. They came to live under our flag, you know. So when you think of immigration, consider the crows.